A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah. Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it
in hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose.
I got my boys from the Corner podcast in the building. Kel, Dansby, Andreas in the building. The old man Andreas. Is it cool if I steal that?
Yeah, you can
that
steal
intro?
it. You can steal it from
All
me.
right,
The
cool.
gray in his beard says that it's the correct way to reference him.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm old. Fuck it.
Embrace it, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm happy that I got you guys on. I've been wanting to do this kind of episode with you two for a while. I always sit in when you guys do your MMA show, and I've been on the MMA show for you guys on your podcast, The Corner, and the wrestling fans that we all are. I like the fantasy book every now and then. And I came up with this idea for some evergreen content in the summertime. As you guys are listening to this now, I'm going to be on a beach somewhere, tossing back some cold ones like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So this episode, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions, because anytime I'm watching UFC, when I look at a fighter, I wonder if they could be champion or not. And I know that's like putting a lot of pressure on some fighters. But Andreas, do you ever watch a fighter and you say to yourself, that dude or that girl can be a champion?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, it's not, doesn't happen too often, but I think when I saw John Jones mow down Vladimir Matvisenko, I was like, oh, he's going to be champ, right? There's some guys that you just are undeniable, even though MMA is such a freaky sport and anything can happen. But there are certain talents out there that you go, Israel Adesanya? Yeah, champ, right? Volkanovski, I didn't see it at first because of the division. But yeah, I see champs all the time, and then a lot of times I'm wrong. So I go like, yo, that guy's gonna be a champ, and he gets destroyed, and I'm like, whoops, but it happens. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's, like Andreas said, there's talents where they just jump off the screen at you. Or if you're watching them in person, you notice the little things where you're just saying, like, once it clicks, they're going to be a champion. Joanna and Jacek's probably the biggest example I've seen. I didn't see a woman throw hands like that ever before her. And I was like, oh, she's going to be champion. She's going to be champion for a long time. So you look at that, and then the rest of the game caught up. So there's some people like Rose Namajunas, where other people saw it. I was like, I don't get it. But then it clicked, and then her hands developed and everything. But I do think that there's certain talents when you look at them and you're just like, man, yeah, that person is going to be special. I looked at Hamzat, and he was just running through people without getting touched. And then you fights a guy like Gilbert Burns, and you're like, okay, it's a competitive fight. But he still comes through that and wins. I've seen both ends of that now. I think the guy's going to be a champion. It's just what division and where. So you see these talents, and then you see them get tested early in their career, and you know they have that makeup. It's just timing has to come into it. And the UFC is so much about timing. But you look at a guy, even the highest degree, Conor McGregor. There was no doubt Conor McGregor was going to be champion. Just something special.
But with Conor, and I'm glad you brought up Conor, and I'm glad you mentioned Chimaev, because with Chimaev, I didn't know if that hype was real until he fought Gilbert. It's kind of fighting a bunch of cans, let's be honest. And then with Gilbert, you're like, all right, this guy just fought for a title. This guy's a top 5 guy, unanimous, like no one's arguing that. And he didn't steamroll him. And I like seeing that, bro. When there's a young fighter, or where there's a fighter where I don't like it if you go and you get first round knockouts every time. Because what happens when you cross that 3.5 minute mark in the first round? You see some dudes just completely plummet. Like from a betting angle, there are so many times that I'll bet on someone, I'm like, just get out the first round, because then you're going to beat them in round 2. Over this past weekend, McKinney.
Yep. Terrence McKinney. Yep.
Oh, dude, Salikov round 2 and 3 were all my bets, but I also bet McKinney round 1, because I even tweeted out like, dude, if UFC was just 1 round for 3 minutes, this guy would be champion.
He's amazing.
But when there's 159 left in the first round, this dude, if he didn't have the body triangle, it probably would have ended after that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I like seeing fighters kind of go through some sort of adversity. Where Chimaev was steamrolling everyone, well, now you're in round 2, dude. And then you drop round. You actually dropped the round. You looked human. But then you win the decision.
Yep.
I like seeing that. That, to me, is what elevates you to, you know what, you can be a champion.
Yeah, I didn't see that with Conor.
No.
I didn't say Conor was going to be the champion. I thought Aldo was going to beat him. Because Conor, he hadn't fought a wrestler, and Chad Mendes didn't count.
Yeah,
No,
Chad Mendes was.
Mendes counted. Getting up.
Bro, Chad Mendes did not count.
Getting up from the floor after rounds 1 and 2, and then starching him, or after round 1, in the middle of round 2, getting back up and then stalking him and then knocking him out. I think that gave Conor the boost of confidence that led to him becoming a champ, not just a champ. So, yeah, but again, a lot of that is timing. But I saw that, I mean, Conor's second, the Dennis Seaver fight, you can see, like, this guy hits different. Him versus Poirier, he hits different. This guy is going to be a champion. Me and Dre argued about this because we had our show during this time in real time. And he was like, he hasn't fought a top 10 guy. Why is he getting the Aldo fight? And I was just like, I don't need to see him fight anyone else. I think he's the best fighter in this division already. And he laughed at me. He was like, how is he going to defend this leg kick? Which was very viable. Like, how is he going to stop leg kicks? Like, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get there, but I think he's already better than Aldo. And Aldo was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I was just like, I think he can compete with him and he can be champion. And then we see the path of Conor McGregor. And I think there's certain people where it's just that undeniable. Now, MMA is also in a vacuum. So there's only one John Jones where you are champion and undefeated off and on due to his own decisions for a decade. No one else does that. You have a time, you're hot, you're in, you're out, the game passes you by. You can fight like Max Holloway to get back. Sometimes it's easier than said than done. I'm not sure if Kamaru Usman ever holds a title again. Very dominant. Is he the greatest welterweight of all time? And then gone.
Yeah.
You know, GSP and John Jones, they're unicorns in this sport.
Yeah, there are exceptions. I want to push back a little on Chad Mendes, bro. He took that fight on like 14 days. Though.
Yeah, man.
Semantics. He can still
No,
wrestle.
that's not semantics. That is not semantics.
Still
A man
wrestle.
who had to cut 30 pounds in 2 weeks, his cardio was
I mean,
cooked.
that's why he gassed. Conor got up and beat the
Exactly.
hell out of him.
That's not a test.
No, but Conor didn't get submitted on the ground.
Chad Mendes
take
doesn't
that.
submit people on the ground. What are we talking about? Like, bro, like that doesn't. That win is not what people was like, that's going to make him world champion. Because if he would have fought Frankie Edgar, that was the opponent that people were like, yo, he's got to fight Frankie.
Yeah, I think it was starch Frankie.
It's kind of similar to what we saw with O'Malley with Jan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like for the longest time, O'Malley was more of a gimmick character. His aura was way bigger than the fighter that he really was. And then he takes that fight with Jan, and you're like, all right, yo, you beat the number one guy outside of Aljo. Now you deserve it. Now you've earned that right.
Yep.
I love seeing it that way. Because then from
I think
there,
he knocks
it's,
out Aljo, by the way. I think he's on the same Conor McGregor trajectory.
yeah.
He beat the hardest stylistic fight for him. I think he starches Aljo
Wow.
But he lost the
and
fight.
becomes a superstar.
He lost to Cheeto
Are you
Vera.
asking me? Or are you asking him?
No. I'm just saying.
The
He
man
lost.
doesn't count the loss. He says he's undefeated.
Bro, he lost
He says
to
Zenko
Cheeto
gave
Vera.
out. He said he didn't lose that fight. I'm not going to debate you or him. Listen, I don't know.
He's not on the Conor.
I don't know. The ankle gave out. I don't know.
No, he got kicked in that shit. He
did
didn't-
get kicked.
Yes, that Cheeto won that fight.
I don't know.
Like he's done a fantastic job playing Jedi mind tricks and making people think that he didn't lose that
and
fight.
selling a ton of merch, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
His undefeated merch,
It's
he made over
ridiculous.
$500,000 off
Shit's
that.
hilarious.
You got to be delusional to be a champion, right? Like you have to have you have to have some delusional capabilities. And O'Malley's one of those guys. It's just like, what loss?
Yep.
What are you talking about? But he lost. He lost a fight. I saw him lose a fight. It happened.
Maybe.
Kel, when you're looking at a fighter, before we get into some of these predictions where we're going to fantasy book who's going to be holding the title on January 1st of 2025. It's about a year and a half away. We'll give a couple of names. We'll run through each of the divisions. But Kel, when you're watching a fighter, can you tell me something that you're looking for in a fighter that allows you to put him or her in that category of one day they could hold the title?
First things first, you don't fight down to your level of competition. That's a big thing for me.
I like this.
You blow out the fighters you're supposed to blow out. I think if you're dominant at a certain level, then it's okay to have those tough fights like Hamzat. You blow out the people you're supposed to blow out. You're not supposed to blow out Gilbert Burns, and that's all right. Israel Adesanya does this great, where he'll have tough fights, but starch other people who aren't on his level. So you understand, like, okay, if this person pushed him, this other person is really great because he just washes everyone who's remotely mediocre. Either he doesn't lose a round or he knocks him silly. So that's one thing I always look for. I don't want to give away one of my picks here coming up. So I won't do that. But I see that from a couple of fighters where it's just like, when you fight people outside of the top 10, you're demolishing them. Sometimes you demolish people in the top 10. But making those statements, too many people have competitive fights with people outside of the top 10 and just slowly cruise their way up divisions. I never thought Leon Edwards was going to be a champion. I didn't see it. He proved me wrong. And some people do that. Like this MMA. He got incrementally better. But I didn't think he was blowing out anyone. I thought he was just like going through and doing enough, but he kept winning. And then I was like, all right, cool. But then there's a guy like Charles Oliveira, when it clicked and he just ran through everyone. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's when you start racking up and finishing people that you're supposed to finish that aren't top 5, top 10, it shows me your caliber. And I think that's like the number one thing I look for.
I love that you bring that up because from like a betting standpoint too, one of my favorite things to do is Augusto Sakai, right? I'm not saying he's going to be champion one day, but that dude was like on a nice winning streak, and then he ran into like top 5er after top 5er, and then he was on a 4-fight losing streak, fights Maurice Green, and is like plus 160, and I'm like, hold on, dude. This guy shouldn't be. This guy was number 6 in the world at one point, but then he loses to Overeem. He loses to some top guys, and you're saying to yourself, all right, these are all dudes that either competed for a title. Like the step up in competition, it works the other way too, where when you're running into, going back to what you said about the steamrolling the dudes that you should, and he ended up like 30-26ing his last opponent. So it works that way also.
Yeah.
Andrea, same question to you, man. What do you look for in a fighter that tells you that he might be the one?
I say this in boxing. What happens when you get punched in the mouth, right? With John Jones, Vitor Belfort had in that arm bar, right? Or he broke his toe against Chael Sonnen. And overcoming adversity is what is the mark of a great fighter. Because you can steamroll whoever you want. But when you find yourself in trouble, how do you get out of it?
Yeah.
So that's why with Volkanovski, for instance, when he got out of that guillotine against Brian Ortega, I was like, ain't nobody beating that dude. Like, nobody's going to beat him.
Yeah.
How? How do you beat somebody that gets out of a guillotine that's that deep?
I felt the same way, bro.
It's like that is the mark of a champion. Adesanya, when he fought Kelvin Gastelum and kept getting, like, he got hit in that fight a lot. But he was strong in that 5th round, world championship. Other fighters, and that's why like the Conor thing is very tricky, because as soon as he got into deep water with Nate Diaz, we found out real quick, like he's not really good with adversity.
He's a front runner.
Yes, he's a front runner, but he doesn't deal with adversity well. We will never know what would have happened in that Aldo fight after that 13 seconds.
You don't need to. Only took 13
It's just
seconds.
kind of how it works out. But for the most part, I just got to see you deal with a little bit of a style adversity, being on the ground, having to get up, or being threatened with submissions, whatever that is. If you can overcome that, doesn't matter the quality opponent, because you're always going to find yourself in a tough spot. You can get through that. You have the potential to be a world champion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for me, I need you to not be one-dimensional.
Oh, yeah.
If you're just a dude that is a, all-world jiu-jitsu ADCC winner, but your stand-up is like amateur level, like that ain't gonna work. Or the other way around. You're just this wild knockout artist. Like, I need you to be at least, like, my favorite fighter of all time is GSP. And the way I describe GSP is like he's A- everywhere.
Right.
Which is still elite, but it's like, he's not a A+ here and then he's a C+ somewhere else. It's like he's just A-. I feel the same way about Volk.
Yep.
I think Volk across the board. And what you said about him with the either the guillotine or the triangle that he was in too.
Yeah.
Because those were all in like 90 seconds that it happened. And as someone that trains jiu-jitsu, like usually you get out of that first one, that second one is going to get you, especially when it's a guy like that. And to me, I need you to be able to win on the ground, win standing. If you have to fight a fight that caters to the other person's strength, can you combat that? Going back to Volk. Volk is a great case study for this because Islam took him to the ground and he felt comfortable. He's talking shit to him, hitting him in the back as he had him. That's what I look for.
I don't need my fighters to be a champion. I don't think you have to be overly well-rounded. You better be A+ at something. Like Francis Ngannou, you don't got to be well-rounded.
You're absolutely right.
But
You need to be A+ somewhere.
If you're not well-rounded, you better be A+ at something. Habib for years. I mean, Michael Johnson put hands on him for a quick second. He was A+ at wrestling. So if anything hit the fan, we're taking you down. Yeah. But then the threat of that A+ became so great that the hands were now, what are you going to do? Your hands are constantly at your waist because this guy's going to shoot on you. Yep. And now he's just going to fake and like he dropped Conor with the overhand because you have to. Charles Oliveira, it took, 8 years for his hands to develop? He was A+ in submissions and on the ground. So if you're not well-rounded, you better be A+ somewhere else. And a couple of people on my list as we go through this right now are A+ in the category, and I'm counting on it to just get good enough in the other categories, and that's why they're going to be champions.
I like it. Where do you guys want to start off with? Andreas, you started off.
Oh man.
Pick a division.
Let's start at the top. Let's start at heavyweight.
Okay. Oh my God, this is the hardest division.
This is the hardest one. 2025. John Jones won't be here.
I agree.
John Jones is done.
Yeah.
I think we'll see John fight in 2025.
No.
He will not be champion January 2025. I think he retires, and you wait for a big fight to bring him back. He'll vacate the belt and then just wait.
Well, he won't be here. So it won't be him.
No.
So if you look at the heavyweight division, because you have like guys like Tom Aspinall who's fighting, I think potentially, depending on how this division shakes out, Gelton Almeida could be the champion in 2025.
Good pick.
Like you look at him, he's got everything.
Yeah.
Right? And you look at the rest of the division, it's like, all right, well, Curtis Blaze, like Pavlovich, okay, maybe. But I think Almeida might be the goods. It just depends on if he can get fights over the next 12 months to put him in position to be champion by next year. That's my pick for heavyweight.
Damn.
Was that who you had?
Took my pick.
Ah.
The guy looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
When you look at that and just his build, and you need, and I'm a big proponent on the ability to finish people at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're also strong, you're also dynamic, you're also fluid. You have to be able to finish people. That's why I think John changing his body is so smart when he went to heavyweight, because he was built lean and stylistically good enough to outpoint everyone at light heavy. You're not going 25 at heavyweight and praying someone's going to catch you. He had to change his body to give him the power to be able to stop people. And a lot of that's just wrestling, get him on the ground, choke him the hell out, like we saw. So I'm going with Almeida. He has that ability to submit you and the power to knock your ass out. What are you going to do? Like he's stopping people continuously, and I think that's how you win. I know that's how you win at heavyweight.
Yeah.
It just is. Stipe wasn't a traditional knockout guy. His biggest wins will all come by knockout. DC beat Stipe by knockout. Like you look at Francis, his run was through knockout. Yeah, he wrestled Cyril for a second or whatever. No, you got to knock people out. You got to stop them. That's how champions are made in the heavyweight division. You keep going back way before then. Cain Velasquez. You go back to Verdun when he stopped Cain. You got to finish people. Whether it's sub, like Brock Lesnar almost getting caught in some freaky shit. Well, Frank Mir did catch him. Like you got to stop people, sub or knockout. And I think Almeida's the guy that does that.
So I had Almeida at 205. Do you think he's done there?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
So I put a disclaimer on him for 205 with someone else. Well, I'll wait for a 205. But for me, for heavyweight, I had Aspinall.
Aspinall could be the guy.
He's young. He's 30.
Yep.
He checks the boxes of the kind of fighter that I like to be a champion. He could submit you on the ground. He could take it to the ground. He has a lot of knockout power in his hands too. And he seems to be able to keep a pace too, which is something you don't really see with heavyweights. He could walk a lot of guys down, which is kind of a culture shock to a lot of them in there, because they do rely on the power a lot. And you're right, though. As you were listening, all these heavyweights, they're all finishers.
Everyone.
And that's why I think like a guy like Curtis Blades kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, because he's that traditional wrestler, wants to just take you to the ground, kind of lay and pray approach. I like Aspinall for me.
It's a good pick.
I don't mind that. A guy that can stop people.
Yeah.
And that's what you need in that division.
So I said for 205, well, I guess we'll work backwards. For 205, I put Almeida, but you're right. I think his time at 205 might be done, because that's a big boy to make that cut for 205.
Yeah.
You guys still remember Rakic?
Alexander Rakic. Yeah. The guy who's still hanging around.
Still hanging around, man. He had that gruesome injury against Blachowicz, but he's not the kind of fighter that I do gravitate towards. But when you're looking at 205, there's not a lot there.
It's a disaster of a division.
It's rough, and Jamal Hill just had to relinquish the title. I think you guys are onto something where that co-main at 291 is going to be for the show. It kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, it might as well.
Might as well make it. But for me, Rakic is a guy who I've seen him stuff takedowns, though that's not his strength. Striking, he's had some killer knockouts, and he's also went the distance too. But again, Andreas, we're kind of grasping at straws at 205, and it's not a lot to pick from.
That title's been vacated 4 times in 5 years. It is a disaster. Like, if you would have asked this question last year, none of us would have said Jamal Hill would have even had a world title. Dude came from a contender series.
Yep.
And got the title. If I got to pick somebody, I'm just going to go with what I know. Yuri Prochazka. I mean, it's a year from now. He should be back in a few months. That means he'll probably have like 2 fights. I don't know if anybody can beat him at 205. I don't think so. But I could be wrong, because this division, I don't want to say it sucks, but John Jones left a wasteland of a division. Like, he wasted everybody.
Him versus Pereira would be one hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Alex's power is.
Oh, yeah.
It would. But shit, we got to see if Alex can beat Jan.
We got to see.
Because Alex he's not gonna have that size advantage that he did over Izzy.
No, but the power translates. He showed that in kickboxing. He wasn't a one division kickboxing champion.
Jan is the one guy that people keep betting against, and he keeps winning.
He does.
So he might be.
I think the last time he fought, I think he was a favorite. But prior to that, he was 7 for 7 as an underdog.
Yes.
So
Every fight.
Against Rockhold, he was a dog. Against Izzy, he was a dog. Against Dom Reyes, he was a dog. Just always been a dog. And you're right. That Polish power, bro, it's a real thing.
No joke.
Yeah. I'm going with a different pick than both of you guys. I think Ankalaev is champion 2025. I think he fought his worst fight against Jan.
Yeah.
And that worst fight ended in a draw. Like, that's the worst fight where he's going to fight in the UFC. And it was a draw against the guy you just said is tough as hell. I think he has a very unique skill set. I think he's tough. I think he's going to be the guy in this land of strikers that really separates himself
With the wrestling.
Because he can do everything, like you said, and it's a unique skill set. And even with Jan, he can stand with him. Like, we saw this against Blachowicz, but I think when you get into him versus Pereira, him versus Yuri, he's very different and very unique. Ankalaev would be champion.
He's on my shit list, though, fellas.
Why?
He blew up my parlay when he got submitted by Paul Craig.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Listen,
I'll
that
never
happens
forget that, bro,
sometimes.
with 1 second left.
Yeah, it was bad. That was bad.
That's how you live as a wrestler, though.
Yeah.
You look at Islam. I remember.
Danger.
Yeah, I think me and Dre were at the Islam fight when he got caught in a fucking triangle. Like, he was just dominating on the ground. We threw the triangle up and tapped him. And Islam was like, what? And Habib was just like, oh my God, he lost. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you live on the ground, someone throws some crazy shit up, it's a wrap.
Catches you by surprise. 185, this is the only person on my list that I have still being the champion by then.
Yeah, I don't think anybody beating Israel Adesanya at 85. I just don't. He's not going back up to 205. He's going to beat Dricus.
Gonna beat the brakes off.
Who's left? Like, you look at that division now. I think Adesanya is chasing history with Anderson Silva.
Yep.
So He's not going to risk going back up to 205. He knows he's too small for that weight. He'll still be the champ by this.
Oh, dude, he didn't even attempt to put on weight in that fight at 205.
No,
What, he
he
weighed
just
194. He weighed. Or
Yeah,
something?
he was tiny. So no, he'll still be the champ. I'm looking at this middleweight division because obviously Bo Nickel will not be ready by then.
No,
clearly. Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier, Robert Whitaker, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa, Derek Brunson, Roman Dolidze. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody beating Israel Adesanya.
Israel's not champion.
Okay, who you got?
Hamzat is champion. January 2025. I've seen Jan Blachowicz take down Izzy when shit got dirty. And Izzy, again, wasn't easy to sub, but was comfortable on his back. It was like, I'm standing up the next round. We'll figure it out.
Also,
And then
not
it
much
went
of a
3 rounds.
threat from Jan on the ground.
No,
so that's
and
why
it
he was comfortable.
It was
kinda
3
just-
rounds to 2, but it got away from you. You kept getting it on the ground. Hamzat has that ability. And I love Izzy, and he could starch Hamzat if Hamzat stays up with him. But Hamzat, if he takes him down, could beat Izzy. I think that's probably the fight, like that December UFC card, Izzy versus Hamzat here in Vegas to end 2024. So Hamzat is champion January 2025.
The reason why I didn't pick Hamzat, because I don't think that fight's going to happen before 2020. I think it'll happen.
If the man
in
can get a
2020.
visa,
Well,
then maybe.
I think that's the problem. Like, right? Like, everybody keeps asking, why hasn't Hamzat fought yet?
Can't get a visa.
And now he's trying to fight Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
And we don't know if that's going to happen. I still think.
Fight in 3 countries.
This dude has been fantasy booked in like 9 different matchups, bro. Paulo Costa, Bo Nickel, Usman,
Everybody.
Man can't get a visa right
I think
now,
if he
got to figure this out.
If he gets the opportunity, he'll win. I don't think he'll get the opportunity. But he would have been my pick. But I was just like 2020. Like,
16 months. This man's getting a title shot in 16 months.
I don't know.
Who else? You just ran down the list. Who else?
He
He's
just-
just 1 win away from a title shot.
If he fights Kamaru Usman, he's not getting a title shot.
No, because that's a guy like a 170,
170,
right? Like
yeah.
you got to, if he gets 1 fight at 185,
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he'll get it by
him
20.
versus Jared Cannonier, like you give him that in Abu Dhabi, cool. And then I'm not sure again if he ever gets a visa in the US again. I'm not sure, but you can try to give him a visa in Australia
You could try.
and work around that way. And it's still international, and there goes your title fight.
Like, he might get the title. I just don't know if he's champion January 2025.
Yeah, 16 months. That guy's a champ.
At 170, this dude from his first fight, I was like, this guy's gonna be champion. I think I've been telling you guys too. Rachmanov, Shavkat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a big
Dude,
Rachmanov guy.
So my favorite thing about him, Kel, is I've never seen a fighter that he's 17-0 with 17 finishes, and it's so balanced.
8 and
It's
9.
8 and 9. Usually you'll see, a guy 17-0, it's 15 knockouts, 2 submissions, or 13 submissions, 4 subs.
Yep.
But to see 17 up, 17 down, and he could beat you however he wants, that is some otherworldly shit.
Yep.
And the size of him too, he's a big 170er,
dude.
and doesn't seem to have a bad weight cut ever. He's always just comfortable with the weight cut. He's the one at 170.
Yeah, there was no question for me. Rachmanov, dude, he submitted Jeff Neal with a standing rear naked choke.
Yeah, the dude's filthy.
If you look at the weight class and how well-rounded Rachmanov is and his size and his, again, ability to take a punch, he dealt with pressure from Jeff Neal that entire fight, looked fantastic in it, actually surged in the end of that fight.
And also, I love that what you were saying before, we saw some adversity. He
Yeah.
got clipped, did not a chicken dance completely, but did like a little 1-2 step.
Yep.
So we got to see him react to a big shot. And Neal, hands of steel.
Niels can crack.
He's
yeah.
a big dude. Rachmanov is going to be champion. I was looking at the welterweight division. I'm like, I like Jack Della Maddalena a lot, but I don't think he'll be the champion. I like Ian Gary, but I look at there's levels to this. I think Rachmanov is a completely different level right now, and it won't be Leon. So he'll be out of here.
No, Leon's not going to be champion.
So who you got?
This is tough. And this is hard to call.
Come on, bro. Every month I come in and I tell you about Rachmanov. We didn't sway you. We got 2 of them.
You're not swaying me. I'm not sure he gets a title shot by then.
Oh shit!
I don't think so.
How? Who's in his way?
Well, we just see Dana giving a random shot to Kobe Covington again. So, like, stuff seems to move a little bit slower right now in that division.
Bro,
so the belt.
Dana said, we got plans for Bilal. It's Shavkat.
Yeah, okay. And then he gets Bilal.
Because he doesn't want to give it to Bilal, right? Like,
Exactly.
we all know that. So it's going to be Leon and Colby.
Yeah.
And then we'll wait 5-6 months for them to heal up. And then they'll be like, Bilal will be like, yo, I want a title shot. I want a title shot. You want a title shot? Cool.
Yeah.
You versus Shavkat, number one contender.
Shavkat will beat the brakes off of him, and it'll be Shavkat in a title fight, and he's going to win.
Yep. There we go.
Not sure. I would say, even if he does and he enters this fight as champion, all right. I think Islam is really serious about this champ push. Very serious. I think it's something that would separate him from Habib. I think it's something he really wants. He actually just called for it.
Yeah.
He's not going to get this shit because I think Colby is like really like penned into it. It's not penciled.
Colby and also like, Charles too. Charles Oliveira, I think, did it the right way. He lost the title shot, didn't get an immediate rematch, beat the guy that was a number one contender.
I think
those two are cemented.
Sure. Yeah. I think if he beats Charles again, then it comes down to the place of, all right, it's Volk, and then nobody.
Yeah.
You beat Charles again. Then if you beat Volk, then where are you? And I think that puts him to the end of 2024. We're probably in October again when you're looking at Abu Dhabi, where it's like, okay, now you can go for your champ status. And Islam's really fucking good.
Yeah.
So.
And he does that one thing that you said you like, where he's so great at that one thing.
Like that style. Like not many people can handle that style.
Yeah.
So Islam Makhachev is my answer for this weight class and lightweight. He is a champ January 2025.
Okay.
He gets the belt in October, and he still has the belt because he beats Volk again, which is the harder of the fights. But I think he beats Charles, he beats Volk.
And then he goes up to 170.
170. And then we'll figure out if he got to vacate and maybe you get Charles versus Volk when he moves up and they make him stay or maybe he comes down. I don't know. But it's been a second since we had a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're due.
Won't be him.
Islam is the champ.
Okay. What you got at 155?
Volk.
Oh.
I think there's two options for Volkanovski. Ilya Topuria, obviously.
Yeah.
And Islam. And the way that Volk fought this back half of that Islam fights makes me believe he can beat him. I think Volk knows that he can beat him. I don't know if Islam can do anything different in that fight. I think it was a situation where we saw Volk go, that's what you got? All right, I know how to deal with that.
A light bulb went off.
Yeah, when you see somebody fight a back end of a fight and becomes like he ends up in the top position in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Volk is going to be the champion.
Oh, dude, my favorite video is when Volk is being interviewed. He's like, give it up for Islam. And all of his corner is holding him up because Islam just looks like he ran the Boston Marathon.
Yeah,
he just looks miserable.
He's dead, yeah.
That rematch is going to be a nightmare for Islam. It's going to be an absolute nightmare because Volk, what we have learned about Alexander Volkanovski is like, what do you do well? I'll figure out how to beat you at that. This is what John Jones used to do to people. And like Volk went out there, he's like, oh, Max Holloway is the best boxer? I'll pitch a shutout for 5 rounds. I think he knows how to beat Islam. I think he beats Islam. And then the fight is him and Oliveira. He might beat Charles as well because Charles is a little bit too reckless.
Yeah.
So I think Volk will be the lightweight champion by 2025.
Wow, I like this. You guys are kind of swinging me a little bit. I'm being super biased because I've been on the bandwagon of Arman Sarukian.
Sarukian.
Wow.
At 155, yeah. He's another guy that I think is complete everywhere.
You got a lot of young champions by 2025.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
a lot of
It's only
turnover.
getting a little younger, too, as we move down the list. But Arman, a lot of people forget, bro. He took that debut on 11 days' notice against Islam, and he was 22 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took him to a decision. And this is when Islam started just steamrolling everybody. And that was really impressive. Now, strength of schedule, hasn't really fought anyone elite. Didn't like that he did the chicken dance against Joaquim Silva.
Yeah.
Where that drives me crazy, dude. When there's a definitive one way that guy could beat you and you put yourself in danger.
You still get caught by it.
You still get caught by it. It's like, man, like you know not to stand up with this dude because that's the only way that he could have beaten you. You're a minus 1,200 favorite. You're looking at it like, damn, bro, that looked bad. But then he puts him away in the 3rd round. So dealt with adversity. He's young, man. He's 26.
Yeah.
I do like the matchup of him and Dariush. I know he called him out.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice one because then we could see, all right, yo, are you just going to be a flash in the pan or Now you're fighting a guy who's a top contender. He was going to fight for a belt. Let's see it. So I could be a little early and a little too crazy with this hype, but there's something about him that I even feel like he won the Gamrot fight when them two fought. Very controversial. It was a split decision.
Yeah.
So to me, Arman, I think, has figured out a couple things, and I do want to see a bigger test ahead of him.
Yeah, he needs it.
He needs one for us to maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. But I think with the age and with the potential now of a 170 move for Islam, because I never thought about getting out of the shadow of Habib, bro. That's a good ass take.
Yeah.
I know Andreas kind of trashes you sometimes with your takes, so I think that's a good one.
That's really the only thing he can do.
Yeah.
To like, because you're never
No, not
You're
always.
always,
top
you're always
that
going to be
legacy.
little bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're just always going to be
You just
little
got
bro.
That's all he could do that he didn't.
He didn't do.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to, he would have won that shit too. He just left too early. So
You mentioned the name in passing. 145 for me is Topuria.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's crazy, bro? It might not even be because Topuria beats Volk in this next matchup. It might be where Volk just relinquishes it. If he does beat him, now I'm going to go up to 155 because Topuria is the only person in that division that we haven't seen him fight. And it's the only real threat, especially what he did to Emmett.
Yeah.
Like the step up to Emmett was like, holy shit, bro, he had 3 10-8 rounds.
It's crazy.
That's wild.
Totally dominant.
50-42, someone scored it. So I think Topuria is going to be champ. And this is not me saying that he's going to be Volk in that matchup, but I just think that maybe Volk beats him and then Volk relinquishes and then they do like a max Topuria for 145. And that's how I think Topuria is champion January of 2025.
That was my exact path. I think Volk vacates. He stays at lightweight. I think you end up, he fights Topuria. He beats him. It's not Topuria's time yet. He gets in that position. It's Max. As much as we love Max, I think Max has a Robert Whittaker moment against Topuria where he just gets overwhelmed. Topuria is that good.
Yeah.
And he's the champ. I think Topuria is 26, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Topuria is 26. Huge. You got soccer players coming to your fights, bro. It's time. By this time next year, even with a loss, I think he'll be the champion.
Damn, it's hard to not go with a full sweep, right? And Max is my dude.
I love Max.
So it's like one of those things. It's like, damn, is Topuria good enough to beat Max? It'll be a close ass fight. But yeah, Max has been through so many wars.
Can I stop you real quick? I don't know if you caught this, but Volk was on, I think, Ariel's show, and he said, I begged Topuria not to fight Max.
Yeah.
Because, like, bro, I feel like Max could
Keeps
probably
taking people away.
Yeah. And then Volk is like, dude, I don't want to fight you again.
Yep.
So it's weird because, like, styles make fights. We all know that analogy. But I think Max would be a really tough fight for Topuria, though I think Topuria is the only one that could beat Volk.
I agree.
Yeah. Max is a tough puzzle to crack. And it took Volk 2.5, 2.25
Yeah.
fights to be like, got it.
Yeah.
It's solved.
Yeah.
Like, I solved this puzzle. But the first fight, I thought Volk lost.
Yep.
And then Volk came back and he won. And then he dominated. Topuria is not going to have that luxury of 3 fights of information, right? Like, Max is such a unique striker in a different puzzle, and that chin is made of something ungodly.
There's the thing. I think Father Time catches up with Max this year. Heading
Sooner
into
or later.
2024, he's been in so many fights,
Yes.
right? He's got like the Canelo 30. What is it, Max? 31?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the Canelo fight years on him.
Yeah.
Where you like he's only 31, but he's been like 10 billion fights.
Man's been in UFC since
And
he was 20.
also, it's dope when he lands 450 significant strikes, but he's also eating about 180 of them.
That's what I'm saying. This
He's
is
not putting
mileage.
guys away. He's getting
Mileage.
beaten up too.
Right, and if you're fighting like somebody at Topuria who is a high volume striker and he is a busy striker, and Father Time slows you down just a little bit, you're probably gonna outpoint Max.
Yeah, I don't think Topuria stops him.
No,
But
I don't think he stops
I
him.
think Topuria's champion because he beats Max
Yeah.
Holloway. But it's going to be a close-ass fight. He's not going to be like Volk, just dog-walking
No.
Max Holloway.
So wow, that's our first clean sweep.
Yeah,
is.
and that's tough, man, because I really like Max.
This 135 for me was the toughest one, and this is the one that I was the least excited about saying. Kel, who do you got at 135?
I mean, people would be like, oh, it's Marab. I love chaos. Sean O'Malley's going to be champion.
Is it because he's going to beat Aljo and then not fight for a year and a half?
Sean O'Malley's going to beat Aljo. He's going to screw over Merab, fight Henry Cejudo, because it's a bigger fight. Beat Henry Cejudo. And then him and Merab, I'm not even sure if it happens yet by 2025. Yeah, he might fight twice between beating Aljo in August and January 2025. He's Conor McGregor in every sense of the word. Conor didn't even defend his belt. And he was like, but he came back and the belt was there for him when need be. I think this is where we see Dana's hands pushed into getting an interim champion, because they hand out these like candy. We haven't booked an interim champion. I think we enter 2025 with Sean O'Malley as the champion, maybe gets a little surgery or something, cleans something up, and Merab is the interim champ, asking for a unification.
Yeah, I'm going with Merab. I don't know if O'Malley's going to beat Aljo. I'm not that confident.
I pick against Aljo every fight, so don't even pay me no attention.
You know me. I've always said that.
And I like Aljo. He's been on our show.
Like, if you ask me today, I think Aljo beats O'Malley, goes to 145 and falls short.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen to Aljo, because he's big, but it's different where Volk is at. So I think if, as soon as Aljo leaves, the door's wide open for Merab. I don't think anybody's beat Merab. I think what Merab did to Jan, like if he gets his hands on O'Malley, he's going to ragdoll his ass. He's going to ragdoll him. So I'm picking Merab. I think he's just waiting for his buddy to leave the division. He's like, here, just let me have that. And he's going to wear the Thriller jacket.
Yeah.
I hope he should have kept that shit.
I think he did.
He should wear it. But it'll be Merab for me at bantamweight.
O'Malley reminds me a lot of the Conor McGregor syndrome, of where he says, you need some type of measurables to beat me. When he cut all that weight and he was down there, he's like, you guys are just a bunch of short arm wrestling guys. And he's like, I could fight these people all day. And that was his style. And that's what he did. He was a weight bully. And that power was very hard to take for anyone in that division. Sean O'Malley reminds me of the same. If Sean O'Malley moved up to 145, he's not the same fighter. But at 135, with a bunch of guys that have short, and Merab's great. He's like a little muscle hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Aljo's his toughest test because he's a big-ass dude. He's lanky, all this stuff. If he gets through Aljo, I don't think anyone else has the measurables to dethrone him.
You know, what's crazy about O'Malley is I feel like of everyone we listed, he would probably be the funnest champion.
Oh, by far.
Hands down.
With the promo work, with just his aura and the like celebrity stardom that he has.
You don't think we're getting a run of Sean O'Malley? You don't think he's going to have his 1.5, 2-year Conor run?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
It just
Gotta
feels
beat
like
He
that.
just has to beat Aljo.
He has to beat Aldo, but I think he's not gonna be a one and done champ in my eyes. Like we're getting the run of O'Malley, and then when that shit falls off the cliff, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
I have Merab also, because I think from knowing some people too in the circle, that's the plan. The master plan is Aljo beats O'Malley, drops the title, goes up to 145. And I agree with you, Andreas. I think he goes up to 145 and he realizes that it's a little different up there with those boys.
Yep.
But I think it's Merab. And I think it'd be a cool story too. Like, it's the first time where boys don't actually fight each other.
Yep.
Like they're legit homies, dude. They're inseparable. They're everywhere together. And I think that'd be a cool storyline to have Merab be the champ.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a little bit better when one person beats both homies. So let's go. Let's go. It's like when Dominic Cruz was just washing Team Alpha.
Oh, yeah, they hate
I
his
fucking
guts.
loved it. So give me that again.
Let's wrap up the men's divisions with 125.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is it crazy to say it might be Brandon Moreno just
No,
because this dude is
no.
going to get the title shot again and again?
It'll
No,
be
it's
Brandon
not.
Moreno. It'll be Brandon. Look, Pantoja won, but I think Moreno, each fight he gets closer and closer and closer, and there's nobody else in that division.
Yeah.
Like, literally nobody. Davison Figueiredo is not making flyweight. He's too big.
Yeah.
It'll be Moreno. Moreno will be the champ again, and he'll have a Lego belt or some shit. He's the guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was my take too.
Yeah.
Just because he's going to get a title shot again, and then he just always seems to be a fight away.
Yeah, that's it.
He's so close to the title picture.
And the division's kind of weak. He beat
Yeah.
Kai Kara France, who was the only guy that you would look at and was like, yeah, maybe, and he kicked him into hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be Brandon Moreno.
What you got, Kel? How come I feel like a take is brewing?
Moreno's really good. I'm looking at it, and there's one person that I really like. Muhammad is ranked 11 right now. Muhammad Mokaev, 5 submissions, that wrestling. In a land of strikers, I like when someone brings that difference. 6 submissions. It's just, I don't know if he can work his way up fast enough.
Probably not. Not with Moreno standing in the way.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have to go through Moreno, right? Like, so I'm looking at it. Muhammad's next fight is probably Alex Perez. 7.
Is
Then
it though?
you think-
Perez has pulled out of like 25
Yeah,
straight
dude can't
fights,
even-
bro.
Well, they're gonna punish him.
You're right.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
pull out 25 straight fights. Yeah, you're getting punished. So it's probably Alex Perez. Then you got to go against Brandon Royval or Kai Kara-France. And then you got to either get a Moreno or you got to beat 2 or 3. It's just 3 fights in,
I don't think it
in
happens.
16 months. Seems legit for this weight class. But then you still got to go and get the title. So I think he's top 5. Muhammad's top 5, top 4 in that time.
He's in that combo by then.
Yeah, but Brandon Moreno's champion.
Yeah.
I don't think Pantoja is champion.
Pantoja won't be champ.
No.
He'll be back to delivering Uber Eats.
Oh, that's a damn shame.
I'm just saying.
Sending that man back to the Prius to deliver Uber Eats.
Let's head over to the women's side of things. Let's go with 115. Fellas, I feel like this was the first name I put down on this whole list.
This is my easiest division.
This is my easiest too.
I think it's if we're not saying Tatiana Suarez, what are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing if we're not saying Tatiana Suarez.
Oh, I'm not saying Tatiana Suarez.
What are you
Lord.
saying?
Mackenzie Dern. Divorced Mackenzie Dern is a different beast.
I mean, what she did to Angie, what she has done, like she is a violent woman right now, but a healthy Tatiana
She's
Suarez,
not better than Tatiana.
like is mugging people.
Yeah.
She was someone that I saw and I was like, that girl's going to be champ for sure. It just sucks that injuries have played such a big role in her because she probably would have been the champion.
Day one, I saw Tatiana, and she was, she's going to be champion. Like, no one wrestles like
That's
that.
what
Yeah.
I think her
Yeah,
nickname
she
was.
is suffocating people, and I don't like she's fighting Jessica Andrade,
Yeah.
right? And granted, Andrade is on the wrong side of it right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's still ranked 5.
But if Tatiana just runs her over, it's like good luck, just good luck beating her because she's so big.
Yep.
Big, strong. She'll just walk you down. I think I like Mackenzie Dern a lot, and the hands are improving, but she has struggled so much getting submissions. She's been pissed because she can't get them, and you're not going to get one against Tatiana Suarez. She's not going to give up anything. So I'm going with Suarez here. I like the Dern pick, and I would have picked Dern if Suarez didn't come back.
I love that you said that about Dern because as someone that bets on her to win by submission, there's so many times where I'm like, dude, this is like 3-stripe white belt shit. You can put this girl away, and then she just can't.
She just can't do it.
And she might be the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the whole
world.
UFC.
She the way she threatens submissions. She
Yeah.
just can't finish them.
Can't finish them. It's
crazy.
so weird, bro. So frustrating
Listen,
too.
man, there's no gi out here.
Yeah.
Like,
You really
people are
could.
sweaty. there's no gi. Shit done changed. No, Tatiana, she's running through the division. I give her Jessica Andrade, moves her up to 5 because Jessica's still 5. She probably fights Carla Esparza after because that's a great matchup.
Oh,
She smothers Carla, and Carla's still ranked 1. And then she's standing there looking at a title shot. She's probably a champion by next summer.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's the
Runs
path.
through everyone.
That's the path. 125. I got Erin Blanchfield.
Oh, yes. There's nobody's beating that girl. The only thing that stops me from picking Blanchfield is she moves up to bantamweight because then she gets the title there.
Yeah.
But I think the way that bantamweight is shaking out, especially with Holly Holm getting choked out and finally getting her ass out of the title picture, I think Erin will stay in this weight and she'll win that title. She's too good, too young, and they don't want to waste any time with her.
And she's someone that we saw her in a big spot and she delivered.
I mean, not only she mugged.
Yeah.
Like you went out there and robbed a bitch. Like, God damn, that was rough.
Oh, dude, she might be my most profitable fighter that I've bet on. Seriously. Against Molly McCann, when she fought McCann in MSG,
She beat the hell out of Molly.
I had tweeted when that fight got announced in like August. I was like, if she's not north of minus 300, this is a Patreon clearing bet. Like, we got to put all this money on the Patreon. Then she opened up at like minus 280. I bet her by submission and bet her by finish, and she got the sub. And at one point, I thought she had it in the crucifix. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, I want it all. I want it all. I was like, I don't want the stoppage. I need the stoppage and it to be by submission. Yeah. And then when she got it, I was hyped. But yeah, shout to Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah, ain't nobody beating that girl.
Damn, the movement is what gets me, right? Like, so it's hard. And I think Macy Barber's going to improve so much over the next year. And
she has improved.
She definitely
she's going to be like who they thought she was. But her and Erin is just like 1 and 2. So I'll give Erin the nod there over Macy. Because if they fought, I just think Erin has more ways to win that fight. So yeah, Erin Blanchfield, champion 125.
Man, Macy's such an interesting fighter, dude, because I can't wait to see her in main event spots or title spots, because there's so many times, dude, where like I call it a system play. Every time she fights, round 3 finish. Yep. Just because just seems like the third round she hits another level. And I know she's coming off a second round stoppage of Hebas, but man, she gets better as the fight goes on.
Yep.
And it's whack that we saw her blow out her knee against Modafferi, because if that doesn't happen, I remember she was like minus 600 in that fight. And then that just sours everyone.
Yep.
And of course, it's because of the injury. That played a massive role in it. But who knows where she's at, Andreas, if that don't happen.
Oh, she's top 5 already. Like her pace would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was the goods, and she blows out her knee, and everybody goes, oh, there's people that didn't watch the fight and was like, oh, well, she had it. No, you have to actually watch what happened.
She probably gets the meatball fight. She probably blows out meatballs. She's where Erin is right now.
Yeah, that's probably the path.
Yeah. Yep. Erin just jumped her because of the injury. Yep. So we'll get to the title first.
So staying with Erin, is that your 135 pick?
No.
So who you got at 135?
Valentina Shevchenko.
Damn it, why'd you take my pick?
Dude, look, we talked about 205 is kind of shitty. Come on, man. Ain't nobody trying to see Juliana Payne and Raquel Pennington. And Bueno Silva looked great. She might actually win the title.
Yeah.
But Shevchenko's coming for that shit.
Valentina's going to get her title back.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's going to beat Alexa Grasso.
Yes.
But then, now that Amanda's gone, she's
champ time.
Clear path.
Yeah.
Clear path. But she will end up having to vacate the other title.
Yes, she's gone
and
from
then staying at 135.
Yep.
Yeah. But she's going to be champ. By January.
Boy,
this year.
And if Juliana has that title, Valentina's like, I already beat you.
Oh, going to run through her.
And there's no look at this division. It's not good.
It's not good, and we're really grasping at straws. I love the Valentina pick. That's who I had also. And the only other person I thought of, and then as I was writing her name down, fellas, I was like, I just saw her get mauled, and it was Aldana.
Yeah, Irene Aldana, she ain't ready.
Yeah.
And if you put Valentina against any one of those women, not named Amanda Nunes, she dogs them all.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Grasso fight, I don't care what anybody says, that was a brain fart. She threw a spinning back kick, an ill-advised spinning back kick. She will never make that mistake again.
She was up 3-1 on the scorecards.
Yep.
She was minus 1,500 when they flashed the live odds. And you make one mistake against someone like that, or against anyone really.
Yeah,
it was a wrap.
She got too cute for her own good, and I think she's the type of fighter that punishes herself for making mistakes. She's gonna beat the shit out of Alexa Grasso in the rematch. She's gonna make that thing ugly.
I think that fight plays out the way Nunez Pena the second time did.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be a definitive ass whooping, and then there's not going to be a case for, run it back a third time.
They're going to be like, no, we're good. We've seen enough.
Yeah, we've seen enough.
And Valentino know it too. And she'd be like, yo, whoever's that champ up there,
I'm coming.
I'm coming for that thing.
Coming. Are we doing 145?
Come on, man. That division doesn't exist this time next year.
Yeah, there's nothing at 145.
Here we go. Don't do it. I know what he's about to do.
You know what I'm about to do. 145, the champion, January 2025. Oh, Trey, I've been waiting. Ronda Rousey is the champion at 145 pounds.
All right, I'm about to leave.
She beats Miesha Tate.
Where's the SpongeBob meme?
She beats Miesha Tate on her return to the UFC. She comes back. Cupcake is washed. They build the return of Ronda, say she can't make 135 anymore. She's at 145. Ronda is the champion. And at that point, that's when you go, and again, there's no rankings here, right? So you got to go to the PFL. You got to say it's time. You got to drop that dough. And you got to get a super fight, because we don't know where Cyborg's going to be at that point. Cyborg, maybe you run that fight. Maybe you get the fight that was missed, a long time missed. But I think Ronda is back.
The pain in Andreas's face right now.
I don't know why.
Because how okay, one, this division's not real, right? That's one.
It has a belt.
Two, it has a belt because Amanda and Cyborg were there.
Semantics.
Amanda's gone.
It has a belt.
Misha ain't want to fight. She's 0-2.
Okay.
You can't just throw her in a title fight. You have to throw like Norma Dumont or somebody in there.
You can throw anyone in a title fight. It's a make-believe division.
But they're not. More importantly, Ronda Rousey got her ass dragged the last time we saw her in the octagon. The game has gotten better since she's left.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Ronda's coming back and just
knocking that.
Like, who is she gonna beat? It's not gonna be Misha Tate. I promise you that.
For what she did in the UFC, she also struck gold by being the first one.
Yeah.
Because in the game, like,
it caught up to her.
Yeah.
It was Hoist Gracie, Matt Hughes type shit. Like, Matt Hughes was like, oh, this dominant wrestler type. And then they realized real quick was like, oh, we catch him to this wrestling shit.
Dana loves Ronda. He's going to give her someone she can beat.
No, he's not going to give her a title fight.
He is going to.
Not for a title.
On her return. You think he cares about earning titles?
I don't think Ronda's coming back.
He's like worse than the WBC.
I agree.
He will make Ronda her own damn title. Unfortunately, he doesn't have to. There's a belt right there with no division. No one's going to fight for it between now and when she comes back. He's going to give her from whatever she's done at SummerSlam to announcing it, let's say New York. So that's November. Bro, he's going to give her about 8 months to train and be like, Ronda Rousey's not only returning to the UFC, she's going to return to fight for the vacant 145-pound title against Misha Tate. They're going to do the Ultimate Fighter again to buy her ass some time. They're going to be Ultimate Fighter coaches, and then she's going to beat Misha Tate for that title, and then that's when you go either coax Cyborg back or you get Kayla Harrison from the PFL, and you say, let's run it, and let's print some money.
Ronda will never fight Kayla Harrison.
Nor should she, but
might
get the brakes beat off.
Ronda Rousey,
I'm here for it all.
Bro, listen.
Give me all the money.
No.
You're printing money.
Ronda didn't leave this sport on good terms.
Yeah.
Brock came back.
No. Not even close to the same thing. Not even close.
She didn't leave good terms with Dana or the sport?
The sport.
The sport, yeah.
She don't care about the fans. F you to all the fans. And Ronda's greatest as a heel.
No, Kel. She got starched. She got smoked.
Not even the last time. The last 2 times.
Right. And you think that's like a good taste in her mouth?
Do you think that she's 36 now.
Yep.
That means she'll be almost 38.
Misha's like going to be 40.
No, Misha hasn't won a fight. Misha won't be fighting by this time next year.
Oh, you'd be damned. If a Ronda fights there,
Misha
they'll get Misha off the desk.
No, Misha has to win a fight.
Yeah, I think both of you are right.
So.
I think
it's a make-believe fucking division.
I think Kel is right that if Ronda came back, they would put her immediately in a title picture. And I think you're right also, Andreas, where she ain't coming back.
She ain't coming back.
She's coming back.
For what?
She's going to be a champion.
No. She's
a 2-division champion.
Here's what she did. She got washed by Amanda Nunes, and everybody hated her. Everybody hated her. She just got that taste out of everybody's mouth. People forgot now because of her WWE run. She's going to come back.
Shitty WWE
I promise you this. She's going to. If she were to come back, she wouldn't even have the confidence to win. She doesn't know how to win in MMA anymore. She is broken.
I think you got to give her someone she's being.
No, it's not that.
And she's going to play, my kids will never see me be in MMA.
I promise you she don't like training. I promise you that she doesn't like striking.
Damn sure I don't like striking.
Like, there is nothing about this game that Ronda is interested in right now. It's over.
I don't know. I think the WWE has run its course. I think
she want to raise her baby. She'll probably have another baby.
Maybe.
She ain't coming back. She, as a mom, too, her body's different. Like, is she even making 45?
That's a lot of money.
You asking her to cut
she's making 45. Yeah, she's making 45.
Okay.
That's a lot of money. That's that Brock Lesnar UFC 200 check.
She got that money already.
You think people don't want more money just because she lives on a farm?
Ronda's not a woman who likes to lose. I think her confidence is gone.
Got kids to feed.
She's feeding them.
She's fine with the money.
She's like,
there's always more money.
She's not coming to get her ass kicked. She's not.
You undervalue.
Well, that's why I think a fight with Misha would be interesting.
How much money there is in the return of Ronda Rousey, and how much Dana White wants to push UFC 300 to a different stratosphere. We saw him at UFC 200 bring back Brock Lesnar, say the hell with USADA drug testing. You get in whenever you want to make UFC 200 better than 100. And this is a huge spectacle. And that went to shit because John Jones tanked UFC 200. But UFC 300, you don't think he's pulling out every stop imaginable? And you don't think he's going for the same play in Ronda Rousey
No.
after she's been gone?
No.
UFC 300, by the way, is next March or April. So it's not that far away. If
Ronda-
you announce it in
Bruh.
November and she fights in April,
Why do you think she's going? Why do you think she wants to fight? She didn't even want to do press when she fought Amanda Nunes, and she didn't. And she got knocked the fuck out in the first round.
this ain't Amanda.
First minute.
Like, dude, the
Time heals all, sir.
No,
I've
it
seen
does not.
CM Punk come back to wrestling.
No.
I saw Brock walk back into the octagon.
Nobody got
Ronda's
Punk didn't
coming
get
back.
punched in the face.
That depends on who you ask.
Punk did not get punched in the face. Like Ronda, her competitive nature for MMA is gone.
We shall see.
She's done. And if
145-pound champion.
there's not even a division,
Rouser.
bro.
I like
There's
it.
a belt. I don't care if there's a division. There's a
love it.
belt.
I hope.
And as
I
long
hope.
as there's a belt, there's a way.
Holly's done. She's on her way out.
Sure.
Misha, I've talked to Misha. Like, she's done.
I believe this.
She'll have another fight and she's done. And she's
Until
going to
you
lose
say
again.
Ronda needs an opponent.
Somebody got to win.
You're acting like combat sports retirements mean anything.
I'm acting like Ronda got the shit beat out of her and went to pro wrestling.
You know who didn't beat the shit out of her?
Misha.
Twice.
Misha has to
That's
win
why
a
I
fight.
think, but that's
No,
why I think if
she
they just
loses,
drop that.
it's better.
They'll just do it. If they were to fight, it'd just be a fight. It wouldn't be for the featherweight title.
Okay. Oh man,
We gotta.
you just met Dana White.
We could
yesterday.
keep this going, fellas. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you guys for doing this with me, and it was fun. Some interesting conversations, and only like 2 or 3 agreements too. So it was good to get some
that's
variety.
good. But then Ronda Rousey happened. I'm ready to go home.
Hey, tell the people where they can find you guys on social media and where they can listen to the podcast.
Yes, make sure you guys check out the Corner Podcast everywhere you guys listen to podcasts. We're on every platform. Follow us on social media at Corner Podcast _ on Twitter, Corner Club for Life on Instagram, at Corner Podcast on TikTok, the Corner Podcast on YouTube as well. We are out there, everyone. Nick, thank you so much, not only for having us on your show, but for jumping in with us on our show whenever is needed. Your expertise in MMA and betting, even outside of MMA, is much needed on our show and refreshing. Always get compliments when you're on our show. People are like, man, I love that guy. So no, it's really, really appreciated on both of our ends every time you join us. And thanks for having us on.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it. Just, the next time we have us on, please don't bring up Ronda Rousey again.
You gotta talk to your co-host, bro. It's your man.
I got 16 months to push this.
Yeah, appreciate you, Nick. Thank you. Kel just gave all the other things, but my mind is screwed because this dude is really talking about title fights.
I was going to be on here without a hot take. Shoot.
I love it. At Veterans Minimum, as you can find all things VM. At Nick Day is 10 as you can find me, and we'll catch you guys next time.